So, I mean, there's a lot of different places that we can go with this. I mean, we can talk about the Lakers game last night if y'all want to, the play-in. We can get into the regular season wrap-up, or we can talk Hall of Fame. Which way y'all want to go?
I mean, we've talked about the Lakers. This is fresh out the oven.
Okay, fresh out the oven.
Yeah.
Let me tee it up for you. Okay.
Now, okay.
Hold your horses there, son. So, the play-in. No, I can't talk. Sorry, guys. Let's see the phone call. But the play-in,
man.
Well, you know what? I'm a busy man. I'm out here running a multi-$1,000 enterprise out here. Sometimes I got to take calls. But anyways, so we have the play-in tournament. You saw that Mark Cuban and Luka had an issue with it earlier in the season when they thought they were going to be in it, which is crazy because Mark Cuban voted for it. LeBron came out and expressed his distaste with it. And then we got a great game last night. So now everybody's saying, give that guy a raise who came up with the play-in. But I look at it and I say, excuse me, we've had one good play-in game out of 4 games so far. I'm not saying we should give somebody a raise, but the 7th seed beat the 8th seed. That's what we expected to happen. Do y'all think the play-in worked?
Yeah, I do, because it's still like we're still talking about it, and yes, we would have been talking about it anyway if these were like random, normal, like end of last game of the season, which might not have fallen like that. So I think it was a good, like the 3 out of 4 of them were boring. Like even watching Jason Tatum go off for 50, like wasn't a good game. But like we're still talking about it, which is like what the point of the play-in game is.
I don't know what the purpose of it is, because in I know the season's weird and a lot of people were more clumped together because we didn't have as many games. But even in a regular season where we have the 82 games, there's still some movement at the bottom, and there's the last couple teams that are vying for some spots. So I don't think the play-in actually changed that. There is a world where like I enjoyed the Lakers game last night, and San Antonio actually had a good little run, and they were coming back on Memphis after they got down by a lot. So those 2 games were fun to watch last night. But at the end of the day, like what's supposed to happen from the play-in? So if the Warriors win tomorrow and get in, they might be able to pull off some like we believe magic just because the Utah Jazz are a weird 1 seed. But in a typical year, like is 8 going to take down 1? What's supposed to happen? It's not like in the NCAA tournament where you have a play-in like UCLA make it to the Final Four because everybody's playing 1 game. The 8th seed in both conferences probably is not going to do anything because they have to go play a whole last series after. So what if another year the 10 makes it in? Now we got to watch a 10 seed play a 1 seed for 4 games at the least. So I'm just like, what is the play-in supposed to do? The play-in game can be cool. Like 1 game was cool, but now we're probably going to get a shitty series.
Bro, you look thoroughly disgusted right now.
I just don't know what's supposed to happen from here, because there's going to be a year where like an 8 seed or 7 seed gets bounced out and a 10 seed just got hot for 2 games, and now we're watching a 1 versus a 10 seed.
Okay, so a few things. I think that the play-in is trying to de-incentivize tanking for those middle-tier bad teams, not your Houstons, your OKCs of the world. Like, they're in the shitter, right?
The Charlotte's like
your Sacramentos, your Charlottes, those teams that were like close-ish to the play-in, but we knew they aren't like they're not a real team. It's like to incentivize those teams to try to win. And then hopefully if I'm a free agent and I see that, oh yeah, I mean, they was the 9, but they got into the playoffs, I might be that missing piece. Instead of the team going, oh, well, we're the 9 right now. We're not going to get in, so we might as well send Al Horford home, try to lose every game. And then you create that losing culture, create that bad basketball karma in your building. And then free agents don't want to go there because you're not trying to build anything. You're like you're getting rid of good players to try to replace them with good players. Like with young good players, but it's not going to work because they end up being bad. And we can go down the rabbit hole of these dumb GMs and these draft picks, because I think that shit is absolutely stupid. But I think that was kind of the point.
But what I'm saying is, so like say Sacramento, who was kind of in the hunt, Are you going to be like, oh, wow, let me watch the Sacramento game because the Kings are actually trying? Like, you still don't care about the Kings. Halliburton's fun to watch, but like you don't care about the Kings. You're not going to be like, well, the Kings are actually trying. Let me watch. You don't care. Charlotte, when LaMelo and Gordon Hayward are, you're not going to watch them, even if they're trying. Like a lot of these teams that are on the fringes, you're probably still not going to watch. The Wizards went on a crazy run and they made the 8th seed, so it worked out for them either way. But like, you're not going to watch a lot of these teams that are on the fringes. And now, say a team that was a 9 seed, typically would have had a better chance in the lottery, maybe. Now, say they actually do get lucky and win 2 games. Now they're bounced out the playoffs, further out of the lottery. And now free agents can be like, why do I want to go there if they got the 17th pick, where they could have maybe lucked up and gotten an 8th pick?
I guess like the moral like victory, like, oh, like imagine, like if last year's Hawks had like, made the play-in and then like made the playoffs, like that's playoff experience for them. Like I think there's still value in like a 9 seed, like getting some playoff experience, whether it's like from a playing game or like, if they win and then like actually get to playoffs, like that stuff matters.
So here's where I think though the play-in would actually matter. If we change the playoff format to 1 through 16. Because now seeding becomes way, way, way more important, because not only are you trying to get the best seed possible, but you're also jockeying for matchups, right? And at that point, I think that you'll have more teams at the bottom end actually caring a bit more. And then like that playing game from like 16 to 20, it becomes more exciting because guess what? I bet you that Sacramento team, the way that with the talent that they have, would have looked better than Charlotte did against Indiana. You know what I mean?
For sure.
I think the Pelicans with a healthy Zion and a healthy BI look better than the bottom teams in the East. So now we have the top 16 teams competing against one another, the top 20 teams for those 16 spots. And I think it looks a lot better that way as opposed to the way it does now.
But playing or not, the NBA just needs to change its format because you'll have the Western Conference is pretty stacked. Most of the time, they'll have a 1-8 that isn't too great a series, maybe even 2-7. But sometimes those will be a good series. Whereas in the East, only thing you're really watching in the first round is really the 4-5. Maybe you'll get a good 3-6.
Yeah.
But like 1-8, 2-7 are typically trash series. And that's just the way it is for the past few years. So they're top heavy, and maybe every year the person that comes out of the East can actually go head to head with the person that comes out of the West. But for the most part, like the Eastern Conference playoffs is not fun to watch.
The Eastern Conference is barely fun to watch.
I was gonna say they just like don't have like, Jimmy. They have Jimmy Butler and Giannis, and like I mean now they got KD and the Nets.
I mean I like to watch Jimmy Butler. He's my like spirit animal.
Yeah, but he's like not like exciting basketball. Like for those who like enjoy basketball, he's like fun to watch. But like the Heat like games, like they're very just like fundamental. Like they're almost like Spurs of like the East.
And I think that's one of the problems with the NBA. They have not figured out how to capitalize on the casual fan. And I think some of it may be all this analytics, just threes and layups. Like I had a little note that was like the mid-range shot has become the linebacker in football. We really don't care about linebackers in football. We care about pass rushers and cover guys on defense. And we don't really care about the mid-range. But if you have a solid mid-range game, it's amazing. It's very impactful. If you have a really good linebacker, like the top 5 NFL linebackers, when you have that type of player, he's highly effective. What did you say?
It's like Keith Brooking.
I do want to pause you because this is actually one of the better analogies you've had in quite some time, if ever. So kudos on that analogy. It was a good one.
That's a good one.
I'm trying to get hired.
I like that one. Thanks,
guys. So, Eric, I said a lot of bullshit to say that I'm kind of where you are with the play-in. I mean, it's cool. It's a money grab. Like, we didn't really need this. Like, the game Sunday between Memphis and Golden State, that had the high level of intrigue, them fighting for that 8 seed that we needed.
Yeah, people saying that if you're going to complain about the play-in, don't watch it. It's like that makes no sense. I can think that the play-in is pointless. I'm still going to watch it. It's still extra basketball. But half the games were good, and then some people will even say like, well, the Spurs made a little comeback, but then Memphis kind of had it, and then the score wasn't as close as the game wasn't as close as the score looked. So some people may say like a quarter of the games are good. Some people will say half the games are good. But either way, like I can watch this game, but still, what happens after?
Bro, I can complain about a hangover, but I'm still gonna get drunk next week.
You're on fire today.
What would have happened, or like how would y'all have felt if the Lakers had lost and now they're like fighting for their lives?
I actually would have been happy that the Lakers lost because then CP3 doesn't have to play LeBron in the first round and he gets out of the first round.
Yeah, I actually wanted the Lakers to lose yesterday just because I figured the Lakers would still beat Utah, and I do want CP3. I feel bad that he gets into the playoffs with Phoenix, and they've been killing it, and now they got to play the Lakers in the first round.
He's going home in 5 games, and he's going to get trashed, and it's not going to be his fault.
Yeah, I was pulling for the Warriors, to be honest.
I mean, we know.
It is, yeah.
But likewise, do you want to see Philly play Indiana? Like fully healthy Indiana, I don't want to watch. Yeah, so I'm saying like
I don't want to watch Indiana. And it's funny that they hired this coach that apparently was so offensively brilliant, but he has the people skills of something very terrible. He has the people skills of a fucking 14-year-old girl. So I don't really know what they were doing there. It's just kept my boy Nate there because look what Nate's doing in Atlanta.
True, but even if say Indy does win, I think everybody would have much rather watched Philly versus a streaking Wizards team. The Wiz would have been the 8 seed if there was no play-in. They're on fire. Now say they've had this huge run since the All-Star break. They got to like 34 and 38, which is still like a trash record. But they're in the playoffs. And
I mean, considering they started,
and now they're not going to be there.
3-15 or whatever.
Yeah, and now they just may not be there. So Russ and Beal are out. It would at least been fun to watch them go off for 60 combined points. It's going to be more fun than watching the Holiday brothers and Sabonis.
Russ, he's up to something.
I do not enjoy watching Indiana, but
I don't want to watch TJ McConnell for 2 weeks. I just don't want to. And I like the grit of the team. I don't want to watch that.
And I'm going to touch on this a little bit more in our player versus media segment. I was listening to Bill and House yesterday while I was in the shower after I got done at the gym. And
how much?
I got up to 194, bro. I got to work out.
Yeah, let's say that net didn't thick.
So, anyways, Bill was talking himself into enjoying watching Indiana, and he goes, "Yeah, I mean, I like to watch Sabonis, TJ McConnell, Doug McDermott." I go, "I see what you're doing here, Bill. I'm not gonna call it what it is."
Yeah, I mean, I watched that game. I didn't watch all of it because like it was a blowout, but like it's like I don't know what was up with Charlotte. Like, granted, this is also my first time watching Charlotte in probably like 2 or 3 months. Like, so it was just like shock to the system on all fronts, and Indiana for that matter. I don't know what was up with them. It was a bad game, and like Indiana looked great, but yeah, to your point, they were extremely boring to watch. I really was watching them because of LaMelo.
They couldn't miss, and it was still a boring game to watch. Like offensive explosion, and I was like, "This is a snooze fest."
Yeah,
bro, I played the show.
But granted, Indiana is like even when they had Paul George and like what was that like 13, 12 or whatever when they're going head to head with the Heat, like they were still a little boring. Like Paul George would provide like just enough of a spark to kind of like keep us coming back, and like Roy Hibbert just like slogging down the court. But like I don't know if it's like
they were like Eastern Conference. They were like Eastern Conference Memphis Grizzlies. Like it was gritty.
Yeah,
but they were good. This team it's not this like they're not fun to watch.
Yeah.
Paul George, even now, and he's really good. And some conversations that I've had with some people, there are some guys in the league who say the hardest person for me to guard is Paul George, right? He's still boring for me to watch. Like his best games are, even when he dunks on somebody, it's not physical. You know, it's not his game is nice, it's smooth, but I don't ever want to just say, you know what we're gonna do today? We're gonna watch Paul George highlights.
Yeah, no, I
And he's
agree with you.
great. I would love for him to be the second or third best player on my team
It's like
in the regular season.
whose highlights would you rather watch, Paul George or Kawhi's?
Oh.
Kawhi. I love watching Kawhi.
God, give me some book, man. I don't want to watch. I want to watch Kawhi.
I love watching Kawhi.
Kawhi gets to his spot. He's very efficient with his movement, but not even that there's no like real sizzle or flash to his game. It's just not even. I don't even know how to describe it yet.